All right, welcome to the second review of the evening. Up this time is Infection Maze or Infected Maze, uh, depending
Getting
on which.
into that translation in a minute, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just noting very first, the title is Infection Maze, and then I look down at the blurb here and it's Infected Maze, like just literally on the paragraph here. Anyway, Infection Maze is a zombie FPS game set in a hospital in Japan. The player heads down the randomly generated maze like hospital to help his sister, who is in the basement asking for help. Also, inside this hospital are zombies. So take down the zombies with a gun. And the thing kind of stops at this point. Um, Anyway, so yeah, Infection Maze is a first person survival game, I want to say. Um, I don't know.
Kind
Petty,
of.
yeah. This was handed over to Petty for review, so make with the details.
All right. I guess first for people who are into like Japanese horror game aesthetic, this harkens back to a developer called Chilla Art or Chilla's Art. They made games like The Convenience Store. I'm pulling up live notes here. The Bathhouse,
Like,
stuff like that. Night Security. Like, there's a whole bunch of these games they made, and this seems to be a less polished version of that, but with
mm,
FPS instead of. I believe most of Chilla's games are non-combat.
were they third person or first
For
person?
first person, but you
Okay.
don't actually. I don't. From what I've seen of them, I don't recall there's actually any combat in any of those, but there is combat in Infection Maze. So if you're really into those kind of games, you might find a little bit of enjoyment in this. I'm not. So, and I have reason to believe that the English translation in this game is very machine translated at best. It is not good.
Mm,
It is, they use the free version of the machine translation, not the paid version in levels of bad. So yeah, if really badly translated games are a bother for you, walk away. I don't even think there's a way to change. Like, if you load this on an American like system, I don't know if there's a way you can even change it to Japanese. There might be. I'm not sure. I didn't. I got very frustrated with this game. Even in the opening tutorial section, like the third floor, I guess something made the one of these zombie-like enemies walk around freely, and they were patrolling where the start of the floor was. I had no way by them. I kept dying and I couldn't do anything. I was essentially soft locked. I couldn't get around them. I had no means to defend myself because they didn't give me a weapon yet, and didn't even do the combat tutorial yet. So I got just frustrated and quit the game after that because yeah, it's not fun. Your main gist of each floor is look around for X number of keys, and once you get enough, you can go to the next floor and rinse and repeat. You were supposed to be, fighting or dodging your way around the infected, and if you get hit 3 times, you become infected and the game is over, because that's how zombie games work. There's a whole bunch of other things, like just walking around can also increase your infection level, but there are like items to help restore it. There's also It is very weird, Sergeant. Even from what I've seen, this is very jank, which kind of makes sense for a like more horror angle on the like survival game. There wasn't tank controls like Resident Evil, thankfully, because ooh, that'd be bad. You move around like an FPS. Supposedly there is controller mappings, but the Steam thing said controllers weren't compatible, or at least my Xbox controller wasn't. So if you're a controller player, give it a try. Steam has return windows for a reason. Yeah, I didn't have a chance to really test the actual gunplay myself because I kept dying before it let me do that. So this is just kind of being based off of the footage. And it seems fine. Music was there. I honestly didn't really. I noticed there was some music, but like it didn't make me want to go out and look for it. But it wasn't like I didn't immediately mute it like some games, so. The graphics are fine for, this type of game. These type of games have a certain aesthetic they want to go with, so this doesn't deviate from that. It doesn't look like it's just like a clump of stolen assets or anything like that. So that is at least, better than some of these. The story is an excuse plot. Again, I couldn't get very far, but your sibling randomly says, "Come save me, I'm at the bottom of a hospital." You make it to the hospital and the power's out, so you can't exactly use the elevator to get down there. So you find a weird access shaft instead of taking the stairs. And you're just kind of going down each of these access shafts to get to your sister. And yeah, I have no clue on how obviously this ends. And from what I've been seeing on reviews, it's relatively short. So if you can stomach this more than I can, have fun saving your sister. What are we looking at price-wise, Adam?
Surprisingly affordable. $5.
That's not bad. Oh, I will say one good thing to point out that I do like they did. The keys stack. Well, they do take an inventory slot. They all take up one. We have all been to that survival horror hell where each of the keys take up separate inventory slots and we want to scream. So yes, that is actually props that is deserved to be made mention of. More survival horror devs should do that with items such as keys. Not better about older Resident Evils, no. You can't prove otherwise. But yeah. I wasn't a big fan of this one, other than like some of the, decent points, but like just the whole broken whatever caused the early game to keep me locked in that hallway and I couldn't escape. But if you're like a fan of these type of games, you might get more out of it than I did. You might have a game where it's just not fucking broken. But yeah, I guess that's it from me. Do you guys have any questions or comments?
No, I think I'm good.
Alrighty then.
All right, so that'll about do it for Infection Maze here. Be sure to tune in after the break as the Galax will be reviewing Ardo.